Hello everyone, welcome to ZETA IAS. My name is Samruddhi and today we are going to discuss about Harappan Civilization, also known as Indus Valley Civilization. So as you all know, Harappan Civilization is world's earliest urban civilization which flourished in the northwest region of South Asia starting from 3300 BCE to 1300 BCE. The mature phase starting from 2600 BCE to 1900 BCE. It was the mature phase. So, it was renowned for its sophisticated urban planning, advanced water management system, and distinctive art and architecture. It was known for its advanced water management system, for its urban planning and distinctive art and architecture. So, what was the extent of Harappan civilization? We will tell you in brief. So, the modern day Afghanistan, Pakistan, modern day Afghanistan, Pakistan and northwest region of India. Okay. So, what were the major centers of Harappan civilization? They were Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. They were major urban center in Harappan civilization, which had well-planned grid street pattern and advanced drainage system. We will discuss about these two in detail after some time. Let's read about what were the innovations which were made in Mohenjo-Daro and Harappan civilization. They were seal carving techniques, metallurgy with copper, bronze, tin and lead, and weight and measures. So these were the innovations which were made in Harappan civilization. We will read about all the topics in detail in our next few slides. So, How the Harappan civilization emerged? So as we all know, according to archaeological evidence, the Harappan civilization emerged from early farming communities which dated around 7000 BC. Early farming communities dated around 7000 BC. From this, due to internal development and gradual transformation, what emerged? The Harappan civilization, the mature civilization, the mature phase of Harappan civilization. So what were the agricultural techniques? How did we come to know that agriculture was present in Harappan civilization? Through the grains, animals which were found in Harappan civilization. So the grains which were found were wheat, barley, sesame, lentil and chickpea. These were the grains that were found in Harappan civilization, where the millet were found in Gujarat and rice was rarely found. So these were the grains that were present in Harappan civilization. People had these, and animals which were present in Harappan civilization. Animals. So these were goat, buffalo, cattle, sheep and pig. And these animals were domesticated. And the wild animals which were found were boar, deer and gharials. These were the wild animals. And fish and fowls were also found. So these are the animals which were found in Harappan civilization, and the evidence of these animals can be found in terracotta seals, terracotta structure, here. The seal has the ox, the seal has ox, which represent the presence of animal in Harappan civilization. Oxen was used for plowing the field. Okay, oxen was used for plowing. Bull was also depicted in the scene. Bull was also present. See, as you can see, the bull. And evidence of plowed field is found at Kalibangan, Rajasthan. In agriculture, the plowed field evidence is found at Harappan side of Kalibangan. Okay, and terracotta model of plow has also been found at the site of Cholistan and Banavali. So, terracotta structure of plow has been found at Cholistan and Banavali. These are Harappan sites. So these are few major Harappan sites, major cities like Mohenjo-Daro, Dholavira, Chanudaro, Kot Diji, Sutka Gandhor, Lothal, Nageshwar, Rangpur, Harappa, Kalibangan, Banavali, Rakhigadi, Manda, which is on Chenab River, Mitathal, Ganveriwala, Balakot. These are important major Harappan sites in the mature phase. So, most Harappan sites were located in semi-arid land. Mostly the development, the civilization was on the semi-arid land. Semi-arid land. That means irrigation was required. Irrigation was required. So, the traces of canal have also been found for irrigation. Traces of canal at Shurtugai in Afghanistan has been found. Okay, and a water reservoir to store water has been found at Dholavira, Harappan side of Dholavira in Gujarat. Which shows there was presence of irrigation in Harappan civilization. Next we come to the urban city of Mohenjo-Daro. Now we come to our third topic of Mohenjo-Daro. So Mohenjo-Daro was one of the urban and very important center of Harappan civilization. Though it was the most developed, the first site to be discovered was Harappa. But the first site to be discovered was Harappa. First site to be discovered was Harappa, but Mohenjo-Daro was a major urban planning center. So the Mohenjo-Daro, it was divided between the two sections, one small but on higher platform known as citadel. Second, on the lower platform but larger, known as the lower town. The citadel and the lower town. The citadel was on a higher platform for the fact that it was constructed on a mud brick platform. Citadel, it was higher for the fact that it was built on highly constructed mud brick platform. It was walled from all the sides. It was walled from all the sides, which shows it was physically separate from lower town. See, this is what how the section of citadel looked, the architecture of citadel. Now comes the lower town. It was also walled. Several buildings were built on platform which served as foundation. The lower town was also walled, and it was built on platform. It was built on platform which serve as foundation. So once platform was built in a place, all the building activity was restricted to that area where the platform was built. So that means that the settlement was first planned, and then the platform, then the planning was implemented accordingly. The platforms were built, the platforms, they were the foundation for building activities, building activity. It was restricted to the area of platform, which shows that planning was implemented accordingly. This shows that first the planning was done, and then the buildings and platforms were built and the houses were built around. Another evidence, another example of how the planning was done was the evidence of bricks. Evidence of planning. Bricks. Bricks, whether they were baked or sun dried, whether they was baked or sun dried, the standardized ratio was length and breadth should be 4 times, and twice the height respectively. So this shows another form of planning in Harappan civilization, where bricks were made according to the standardized ratio, and all these bricks were used in all the Harappan settlements. These kind of bricks were used for all Harappan settlements. For all Harappan settlement. Next we come to the topic of laying out drains. It is one of the most distinctive feature of Harappan civilization, the drainage system. Laying out drain. So, in the lower town, the roads and streets, were made along with the grid pattern at right angles. That the streets with drains were laid out first, and then houses were built along. So the drains were made along with grid pattern at right angle and streets were laid then and houses were built along them. And houses were built along them. The domestic waste had to flow into the street drain, and for that the house needed to have at least one wall along the street. The domestic waste had to flow to street drain, and for that the house had to have a wall along the street drain. House had to have at least one wall along the street drain so that the domestic waste can flow into the street drain. This shows an excellent example of the advanced drainage system which was executed in Harappan civilization. The domestic architecture. Let's talk about the domestic architecture. So in the lower town, there were residential buildings. In the lower town, there were residential buildings. Many were centered around a courtyard. Many were centered around a courtyard. This was a courtyard. This courtyard, it served as a space for activity like cooking and weaving in hot and dry weather. Since the civilization was in the semi-arid area, the weather must be hot and dry. And there were rooms around the courtyard. These were the rooms. The privacy was also maintained, as you cannot get a direct view to the courtyard and the interior of the house. So the privacy was also there. The factor of privacy also existed. And the main entrance does not give a direct view of the interior, and there were no windows in the walls along the ground level. So that shows excellent example of privacy also in Harappan civilization. Every house had a bathroom paved with bricks with drains connected through the wall to the street drains. Okay, the drains were connected through the walls to the street drains. The bathroom wall was connected to the street drain. A proof of staircase is also been found, as a second story and roof has also been there in the domestic architecture. So the staircase was also there. Proof of staircase is there. Proof of staircase for second story, and roof. And many houses had in a room wells in a room which was accessible from outside. It was accessible from outside, and it can be used by passerby also. So there was well which was in a room, and it was made in such a room which was connected in a way where outside people can also come and take water, and you can enter through outside also. Total number of wells, total number of wells found in Mohenjo-Daro was 700. The total number of wells that were found in Mohenjo-Daro are 700. Next, we studied about the lower town. Now we will study about the citadel. Also, special public buildings. So, the citadel, the buildings had a special purpose. The buildings were made for a special purpose and not for day-to-day activity. So, there were warehouse, a large structure, warehouse was large structure. The lower part of the brick survives, and the upper part of the roof was made of wood. The last structure, lower part brick, and the upper part was made of wood. The upper part was made of wood, the lower part was made of brick, and it was a large structure. Second such special building was the Great Bath. Great Bath. It was a large rectangular tank in the courtyard with corridor on all four sides. It is a large rectangular tank in the courtyard. With corridor on all four sides. With corridor on all four sides. There were two flights of steps, north and south, two flights of steps. Like this is the Great Bath, like it has four corridors, and the two flight of steps, north and south. This is the north and south, two flight of steps in the Great Bath. And there was waterproofing around it, with the bricks on edges. There were bricks on edges plus gypsum gypsum solution. So the technology was so advanced, they knew about so many things that they did the waterproofing of the great bath with lining of with the bridges, with the bricks of the edges and with the gypsum paste mortar. The water was drained out via drain. Well, it flowed via drain. It flowed via a drain. There must be a drain like this. And mostly the rituals were performed here. Mostly the ritual, the priest performed rituals here. So this is the great bath. Next, another example of citadel special building is the great bathroom building. The bathroom building. The lane north to Great Bath is the bathroom building. Lane north to Great Bath is this bathroom building. There were 8 bathrooms, 4 on each side. Like there were 8 bathrooms, 4 on each side. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And these were all connected to a drain. They were all connected to a drain. And private bathing with access to water and drainage was also present. Private bathing was also present. Okay, so we studied about the citadel, the lower town, the domestic architecture, the special public buildings, the great bath. Now we will track about the social differences about the society present in Harappan civilization. Tracking social differences. So there are many ways through we can track the social differences present in Harappan civilization, and one such purpose for this is the study of burials. The study of burials. Burials will also help us to understand the social and economic structure present in the ancient culture. It will give us an idea of social and economic situation in ancient cultures, right? So in Harappan civilization, Harappan burials, they were buried in a pit. pit. They were buried in pit with the variation was that some pits they were lined with bricks, some pits were lined with bricks, and some burials included pottery and ornaments, and some burials included pottery and ornaments. That means they believed in afterlife also. Belief in afterlife. And rare items like shells, mirrors, shell rings, jasper bead and micro beads were also found. I will write it down here. Items like shell rings, copper, jasper beads, micro beads, mirror were also found in the burial. But most burials were simple. That indicates there was no burying of wealth in the burial. And overall, Harappans did not bury many precious items with the dead. So burials were quite simple in Harappan civilization mostly. The second factor through which we can know about the social economic difference is the luxuries. So the luxury is also divided into two artifacts. One is utilitarian, and one is the luxury. Okay. What are utilitarian? Utilitarian is they are used daily. The objects which are used daily, like needles, pot, body scrubber, etc. And these are all made of materials like stone and clay, which are found in local and which are not rare, which are very common. Second, luxury, the rare items, technologically complex items, rare, technologically complex, precious items. These are not found in local materials like foils. It is difficult to make and it has high value. So, these materials, the distribution of these luxury items tell the social economic difference. Like you will find items like foils in the area of Mohenjo-Daro, which is a large city, but in city like Kalibangan, you will find no luxury item. You will find no luxury item or only few luxury item you will find. And gold jewelry, gold jewelry is also found in in hoards, not in graves, but in hoards. So, luxury artifacts which are concentrated in largest cities, suggesting economic social differences in Harappan society. This shows that only large city was prosperous and the smaller city, they were not having any luxury item. They led a simple and a very common life. So this is part 1 of Harappan civilization. The next part will be taken in the second video, and I hope this helps, and happy learning.